Hi everyone, welcome to InfoCraft, a segment of Notescraft, where we unravel the knowledge beyond the classroom into all things literature, their authors and their adaptations. Horror books are generally meant to shock readers. However, is there a point where it becomes excessive? In a genre known for its emphasis on graphic content, can a narrative cross a line? The users of TikTok seem to believe so. Aron Beauregard released his horror novel, Playground, independently in November 2022, and it has garnered considerable attention within the horror community. With a substantial collection of Splatterpunk works in his portfolio, it's unsurprising that Beauregard crafts narratives that push the boundaries of extremity. In fact, his personal mission statement proclaims his dedication to providing his readers with fresh, cutting-edge horror at any cost. The basic plot is that 8 children and their 3 families are invited to test out a new state-of-the-art playground for an eccentric millionaire's charity. She will use the results of her test to determine which neighborhood the final playground will actually be installed in. What follows is an elaborate series of deadly playground traps designed to end the lives of any children unfortunate enough to encounter them. There are 3 main settings in this book: the playground itself, the control viewing room, and Geraldine's bedroom, Hall of Mirrors. The playground is obviously where the children spend most of their time. The control room is where the parents are forced to watch their children make their way through the playground. Geraldine's bedroom, Hall of Mirrors, is where a particular character is molested and physically abused. And the Hall of Mirrors is exactly what it sounds like, a maze of mirrors but with adult toys suctioned to them at various intervals. The antagonist here is Geraldine Borden. The elderly millionaire is obsessed with what she does not have. She could not have her own child, and she views her adopted son as a total failure, so she chooses to murder others' children. If she doesn't have a child, no one should have one. She has no one to love her, so she forces the people in her life to meet her insatiable appetite. No other person can do what she wants, so she does it herself with whatever she wants in her massive mansion. No man ever took interest in her, so no man or boy is worthy of even being considered an heir to her fortune. The list goes on. She has a lot of trauma regarding her mother, Mildred, as well as her infertility, so she has concocted a plan with former Nazi scientist Dr. Fuchs to pay $3,000 to families who opt to let their children test out playground equipment as part of a charity organization. But it's all a ruse, and what she really wants is to watch kids be tortured while making their parents watch. Her animosity towards unworthy parents has twisted in her mind to associate torture and death with pleasure. The idea of a child being deprived of a future on her playground thrills her more than anything else. The idea of any child surviving is unlikely, but she does have a soft spot and a desire for a young girl to mould in her image. Borden is a remorseless villain in the same vein as Quentin P. in Zombie by Joyce Carol Oates or Charlie Manx in N0S4A2 by Joe Hill. Awful company indeed. Her unwilling accomplice in her scheme is her adopted son, Rock Stanley. He was taken in as a child and almost immediately dismissed as a total failure at life. He was abused in truly horrific ways, left as a broken shell of a man hiding a child never allowed to grow up. Rock is seen as such an embarrassment that Geraldine announces him as her butler, not her son. Rock is tasked with finding the perfect families to bring into the test. He goes to playgrounds in his best suit, approaches desperate parents and offers them a chance to earn a few $1,000s in exchange for their children testing out the playground. He hates doing it, but his choices bring in new families and face criticism or refuse and face further abuse. The families selected for the largest test ever represent different extremes in parenting. First up is Caroline Clark and her young son Donnie. He's not allowed any freedom. She keeps him tethered to a leather leash and harness even when on the swings. The leash is so short that the child can and will fall over from being pulled too long or too hard. Clark is an abusive parent, just like Geraldine, only without the means to really cover up her crimes against her child. Next up are Tom and Molly Grimley. They are the doting parents who try to do the right thing without really disciplining their children. Isaac, their son, is a constant target of bullying from his siblings and peers. He has thick glasses and reads like a real indoor kid, I can relate. His sisters Sam and Sadie are inseparable, with Sam doing whatever her younger sister wants. This includes picking on Isaac and getting whatever they want from their parents. Tom and Molly are struggling after Tom lost his job, so the chance to give their beloved children a special day out and earn some money is too good to pass up. Last up are Greg and Lacey Matthews. They are the exploitative, live through your children's success kind of parents. Bobby is the oldest and already viewed as a lost cause by his sports-obsessed parents. He's overweight and interested in skateboarding, not a real sport like baseball or football. Kip is the star child with all the promise in the world. Greg will make him an MLB star whether he wants it or not. CJ is the youngest, and his parents still haven't figured out if he can be exploited yet. Tanya is the only daughter in the Matthews family. She's expected to be just like her mother. Lacey wants her to be a cheerleader so she can learn how to be attractive to boys and grow up to be a perfect wife and mother like her. But that's not what Tanya wants. She wants to swim competitively, but the idea of a girl being a sports star is unthinkable in this family. Any child achieving their own dreams is unthinkable in the Matthews family. You're either with the parents or against them, and you really don't want to be against them. These extremes in parenting styles already create volatile conflicts before the children even enter the playground. Geraldine's ghastly machinations take care of the rest. These children will be hurt physically, mentally, and emotionally, and their parents will be forced to watch every last drop of blood fall. From acid pools to razor slides, there is no point in this novel where Beauregard pulls his punches. Children die. Children get mutilated. It's essentially a play palace that sees a bloody crossover of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Saw. And if the graphic descriptions aren't enough, it's accompanied by original illustrations by Anton Rosowski. Key moments of the story are presented in a distinctive, inky, black and white style. These are not for the faint of heart. The illustrations make the end of these characters unavoidable and concrete. It's one thing to imagine the violence, toning it down to match what you can tolerate in specific scenes. It's quite another to be confronted with the moment of destruction etched on the page. This book is disturbing in a multitude of ways, including the twisted and abusive relationship between Borden and her adoptive son, Rock. This lays the groundwork for the infamous page 40, the point in the book at which readers most commonly throw in the towel. Through all the gore and atrocities, at the center of this book are stories of lost childhood, stories of children who had their peace stolen from them, who had to face the darkness of the world before their time. I find the horror in this book doesn't really come so much from the brutality, but from the holy shit unexpected moments of pure human evil. This novel has a hopeful ending, and it's just so much fun to read. The children all have distinctive personalities. I thought I would have trouble keeping track, but the characterization of them really shines through. I believe we are supposed to empathize the most with Rock, despite most readers probably having the most in common with Tom and Molly, as Rock's character arc is the basis for the entire plot. If you want to experience one of the most shocking and original deadly game narratives to come around in years, give The Playground a try. The reach of Geraldine's twisted mind is hard to shake off in the best ways possible for a horror fan. With its raw, unfiltered narrative and graphic content, it stands out as a testament to the extremes of horror literature. It's worth noting that Playground doesn't merely rely on shock value. It delves into the psychological horror of parents forced to watch their children navigate this deadly labyrinth, helpless and desperate. It's this juxtaposition of physical and psychological horror that gives Playground its unique edge. The novel's premise is simple yet chilling. A new playground that turns into a deadly trap for unsuspecting children, an eccentric millionaire who uses this monstrous setup for her twisted amusement. Yet it's the execution of this premise, the sheer brutality and gruesomeness of it, that sets Playground apart. It's worth noting that Playground doesn't merely rely on shock value. It delves into the psychological horror of parents forced to watch their children navigate this deadly labyrinth, helpless and desperate. It's this juxtaposition of physical and psychological horror that gives Playground its unique edge. Yet, Playground does more than shock and horrify. It forces readers to confront their own perceptions of horror, to question where the line between entertainment and exploitation lies. However, critics argue that Playground pushes the limits too far, that its graphic content is excessive even for a horror novel. But isn't that the essence of horror, to challenge, to unsettle, to push boundaries? Playground has certainly achieved that. It's a novel that has sparked debates, stirred controversies, and challenged the status quo of horror literature. It's a novel that refuses to be ignored, to be forgotten. Whether Playground is a step too far or a necessary evolution in horror literature, it has undeniably left its mark on the genre. Thank you for watching. Please like and share our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you like our content, please let us know what you want to see next in the comments down below.